Right. I mean, it's always a very delicate balance, no matter what your situation is. If you're a single parent, it's to try to find that time to date and have a life of your own. If you're married and have a spouse, it's to find that time with your spouse. That's so important. You tend to forget about yourself. Again, you've got to sort of compartmentalize. You have time with your children alone. That's so important. You can't give that up. And then you make time as a family, all together as a group, and then you have to find that individual time together. Sounds really difficult to do, right? But you've got to make the effort. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but you always have to try to make the effort.
Right. All right, we're going to hear now from Jackie from California. Hey, Jackie.
I juggle my kids and my career. I just struggle all the time because I feel I don't have enough time with my kids.
Juggling. You know, a lot of us, we're all doing that here as working moms, juggling them both. How do you find that balance?
That's the ever-elusive balance, right? And I don't know that you really can find a perfect balance, but you have to try to strive a better balance. You know, everyone always asks working mothers, can you really have it all? Do you ever ask yourself the question? Working mothers don't ask themselves the question. We're too busy trying to find the answers in our lives. So it's that ever-elusive balance we're trying to strive for. Different things work for different women. You know, some people work less. They work from home on Fridays. Some people get the BlackBerry to help them commute. It depends on what you want to do with your time, but you're always trying to sort of find a better way to get it done.
But it's also just going back to the 15 minutes. If you've even got 15 minutes to yourself,
right?
Or take a half hour for that manicure. If you have a daughter, take your daughter with you. I mean, when I'm not there, when I go by myself, the manicurist asks about my daughter.
Right.
So it's involving them in that where you're enjoying it and they're enjoying it too.
Right. Ladies, this has been great. Thank you so much for making all of us feel that what we're going through is normal.
You are not alone.
As you said, Beth, it's the greatest blessing, and none of us would trade it for anything in the world.
Exactly.
Maybe just a little more sleep. Hey, folks, you can read the excerpt of their new book at iVillageLive.com, Peeing in Peace. We love it. It will happen one day. Well, maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
Hopefully now you're getting a little bit more time.
I'll let you know when it happens.
Okay, all right, we'll stay tuned.
Meanwhile, of course, in the biblical sense, BC and AD, we all know what it means, but now there's a new take on it. Before children as BC, after diapers AD, it's the lives of working women that completely change, of course, for dads too, once kids come along. And Beth Feldman and Yvette Corporon wrote the book, Peeing in Peace, Tales and Tips for Type A Moms. It's great to have both of you with us.
Thanks so much.
Well, I cracked up reading the book, and I know a lot of people
That's good. We want that.
Absolutely.
A lot of people, what did you say, 70% of women, whether they don't necessarily choose it, but they're part of a two-income household, and they need to work.
Exactly. That's the big picture, and that's really a big reason why Beth and I decided to write this book. 70% of all mothers work. And let me just tell you, a lot of these women, it's not by choice. We have to work. So Beth and I got tired, you know, we're both in the media. We got tired of seeing all these headlines and newspaper articles and magazines talking about how miserable working mothers are and they have no choices and they're miserable at work, they're miserable when they come home. You know what? There's no choice. You get it done. And you get it done as best you can. You go to work, you accomplish something, you come home, and you be the best mom you can. Enough with the misery. Have some fun with it.
Right, so Beth, you guys poked fun and joked around, and we are going to look at a couple of them. Explain it to us. We have the BC, the guilt trip. What was a guilt trip before children?
Before children, it was how your mother would make you feel when you didn't want to attend the wedding of a distant cousin out of town.
Okay, and then the new guilt trip AD, what's that?
It's how you feel when your children and your husband says to you, do you really have to go away on that business trip? Do you really have to go? And then you go to the hotel, you fly away, and then you go and you rest on that feather down bed at some really nice hotel, and you actually have a good night's sleep.
So one of the things that you guys tap into is the guilt over feeling guilty that you're excited actually on Monday morning, some women, because you get away from the grind in the household and you're at your desk job where it's a little bit more organized, the chaos.
It's so true. Ask any working mother and she will tell you, admit it, as much as you look forward to Fridays to having the weekend home with your children, sometimes a working mother looks forward to Mondays even more. And it's not because we don't love our kids and want to spend every minute with them. It's a lot of work though. I mean, you know, your daughter's 11 months old.
That's right. And I think there's a lot of men that actually feel the same way too.
Oh yeah, dads too.
Yeah.
Because they're
and that's the whole thing. The premise behind the title was there are no boundaries anymore, and our children just the minute we come in the house, it's mommy, 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 or daddy, and they're just banging down the door to get in. And you know, it's sometimes mom just needs to pee in peace, and sometimes you find that privacy at the office.
Anywhere you can find that privacy, right?
I have to laugh because it does give you a new respect for the women who stay home and are homemakers all day and with their children. My sister-in-law, I have a new respect for her. She's got 3 running around at the house. Okay, let's do another one of the BCADs. Do we have one more? The business lunch. Oh, let's do, yeah, the road trip. And I have to crack up. The road trip before children. You and your college girlfriends blasting cheesy 80s music while on a 24-hour drive to Daytona. I think.
Can you remember that part?
Yes, it was Key West.
Or so it was Journey or Styx, or
Let's see what AD is. There it is, the minivan piled high with kiddie paraphernalia while torturing you with the question, are we there yet?
Yes, and the one thing about road trip, and I sort of feel like when I started out in my career, it was I drove this adorable sports car, and as I, moved up the corporate ladder, now I drive a minivan, and I'm, going to this exciting job, and the bottles are rolling up and down the aisles. I'm like, what happened to my life?
It is.
I own a minivan. It's
a trip. And then lastly, you joke around about the business lunch, and that was when you sat in a restaurant, you waited, you were waited on, had 3 courses as you discussed work with a colleague or client, and then the business lunch. And I think most people can identify with this one. You spend that hour or 30 minutes or whatever you're allotted by your place of business running around like a lunatic trying to take care of all your family's needs.
And that's what we do, right? We take care of everyone else's needs. Our business is taking care of everybody else's business. And when you do finally have that minute to yourself, what do? You sit at your desk and you eat a balance bar and you're trolling the internet to find the American Girl doll that your daughter has to have. There's no time.
Exactly. And it all pays off, though, down the road, right?
Yes, absolutely.
As you raise fine, outstanding citizens and everyone thinks you're Mother of the Year.
Completely. And again, the most important thing is we're working moms. We have no time for ourselves. It's just the bottom line. It's the fact. No time for the girlfriends. We wanted to write something that moms can come together and realize no matter how you feel sometimes, you're not alone.
It's wonderful. Thanks so much. It's called Peeing in Peace. Beth and Yvette, thanks for being with us. We're going to take a quick break. Be right back.